Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Wellness Foreplay. We are Dr. Dondi and Marcy Nettles. We are your hosts, and we are excited to be sharing some amazing things today, like the topic of synergy.
Ooh,
Unbelievable.
It's really exciting what can happen when synergy is in the house. So thanks so much for joining us for episode number 19. Can you believe it? We're at 19 already.
That's our Johnny Unitas episode.
Woohoo! So let's introduce ourselves.
I am Dr. Dondi and Marcy Nettles. We already did. We're being redundant.
But it was before the recording.
No, it wasn't. It was after the recording.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well,
we're on
guys.
Drink some more Axio.
I did just start my Axio, so mine need my brain food, right? But hey, I am a former police detective, and you are.
I'm a former family wellness chiropractor. I have a cat who's running crazy.
So I just have to tell you guys, this is us raw. This is us just here for you. Oh my gosh, how funny is this?
Knocking over the garbage can.
We're just real people, right? Like I'm a former police detective. You're a former
family wellness chiropractor, and we're just busy today.
Coming together and doing the investigations that we hope that you will take the information and use it as your wellness foreplay, the foreplay to your optimal wellness. So thanks for joining us, and thanks for putting up with our OMG crazy.
Right.
All right,
let's anybody notice we got our ears loaded.
Oh, I know. Nice
we were both getting our haircut at the exact same time.
I love it.
That's never happened.
Different places.
Different places.
Yeah.
Different sides of the valley, almost different sides of the valley at the same time.
Yeah. And I think he looks hot.
Well,
what do you think? Oh my gosh. All right, let's get into some
Let's get into it. Yeah, let's do it.
And by the way, guys, foreplay is always more fun when you do it with somebody else. So please go ahead and share out this episode.
True.
Please make sure that you tag somebody in the comment section. If you're with us on live on Facebook, we're on 3 different platforms right now on Facebook. We'll also be uploading this video to YouTube, Dondi and Marcy Nettles on our YouTube channel, and as well as being able to be found on several podcast platforms. Go out, search us.
Yes.
We want to connect.
You'll find us.
Absolutely.
Today's episode 19.
Yeah, on synergy. So let's get into
that.
So the way that we run our episodes is we always have one topic that we're going to cover with 4 specific questions that we're going to get answered for you. So we've done the investigation. So now you just need to take the notes and pick 1 or 2 things from the episode that you're going to implement into your life.
Yeah.
Because you can learn all kinds of stuff, but it's never going to do you any good unless you do something with it, right? So we want you to do something with it.
Knowledge is not power.
No.
Knowledge in action is power.
Yeah.
Put it to work for you.
Love it. Okay. So the 4 questions for today's episode are: first, what is synergy?
Mm-hmm.
Second is, can synergy work in positive and negative ways?
Yes.
We actually had a little bit of an argument about this.
We had a discussion.
Okay. Tit-tat.
When she wins, it's a discussion. When no one wins, it's an argument.
I won.
When I win, it's because she lets me. That's if we're completely honest.
All right. So question number 3. Question number 3 is, how can you stack positive behaviors to create synergy in your wellness? And then question number 4 for today's episode is, how can synergy slow down your aging?
That's the most important question right there.
Yeah, seriously. And we're going to help you put things, connect the dots or put some puzzle pieces together on today's episode. So let's get started with question number 1. What is synergy?
Do you want to read? Synergy? We should read the actual definition. That's where our discussion was actually.
Okay.
About the definition.
It was around 1 and 2. Yeah. So the definition is, and there's several out there, but we'll talk more about the reason why we went with this one on question number 2. But it is the combined effort of 2 or more things that result in a different outcome than if it had been done individually. Mm-hmm. Okay. So it means that it's not just you trying to figure something out. It's when you and someone else or a group of people are trying to accomplish something. Does it get better? Does it get worse? Or does it stay the same? We're going to talk about synergy. Okay. So question number 2 is, can synergy work in positive and negative ways? This is where the discussion came into play.
That she was right.
Yes, of course. Well, I don't want to say of course I was right, but yes, I was right. Because when we talk about synergy, a lot of the time, people only think about synergy as being a positive result, right?
Like me.
Meaning that 2 + 2 = 5, because you've got two or more people working towards the same goal. And because they're working together in synergy, the outcome is actually better than if they had done their individual jobs separately. Okay, so that's a positive.
That's a positive
on the synergy,
yeah.
But a negative. And actually, why don't you give? I love the example when we were talking yesterday about a safe flight and the synergy that has to take place there.
Yeah, if you think most people, when we get on a plane, which we're going to get on a plane tomorrow morning, which is why I was thinking about this, most of us just, what seat are we in? Do we have a window or an aisle seat? Do we get some refreshments and some nuts before we land? And where do we go after we land? You know, most of the time, how do I know that's the truth? Because when they're going over the safety procedures and they're looking over the card and what happens with the mask falls down, put it over yourself and then deal with your kids. Most people are not even paying attention. So most people aren't thinking about worst case scenario because of the synergy. We just take for granted most of it. I mean, think about it. So there's people up in the tower at the airport. They're looking at wind speeds. They're looking at clouds and whether there's storm fronts moving in. They're looking at air traffic. How many other planes are up there where we are about to go? They also, interestingly enough, they look up and they look down. What is the traffic on the ground? Is there other airplanes on the runway? Are we going to make a plane? Are we going to make a way for this plane to get up in the air? Those are all kinds of things. Plus, is there enough fuel in the plane?
Right.
Did they check the air flaps? Did they check the tires?
Did they get my bags on the plane? Did they get my bags on the plane? And that's a big deal.
Did everybody fill out the proper reports? Did they communicate all of that to everybody? And then
did security do their job?
Does the pilot know how to get to where he's going? Does he know how to run? And the co-pilot or the captain and the co-captain or whatever they call it. And so there's all of these things that when it all comes together, we take off and we land with no problem. That's massive, massive synergy. But what happens like if one of those things is overlooked, like maybe whether or not the flaps on the wings of the plane work? Maybe that the guy who was checking it off missed that one thing. Or maybe they didn't check to see if there was a storm front moving in, or whether there was planes, that there was a space up in the air for our plane to go, or whether there was places on the ground for the plane to land. And I know this, my sister was an air traffic controller for many, many years. And she told me about one of these incidents where there was all of a sudden there was a plane on the radar and then it wasn't there. And the reason why it wasn't there, and they said, well, it must be okay, it's not there anymore. And a bigger plane came in and landed on a smaller plane and killed everybody in the smaller plane. That's what happens when something is out of synergy. So even though there was synergy, lots and lots of moving parts, one little thing caused the whole entire thing to backfire. So you can have good synergy. Every time we've ever been on a plane, every time we've taken off, we've always landed and we've always figured out where to go. It's always been positive synergy, but there's things called plane crashes. It's never planned. But that's what happens when there's negative synergy. Lots and lots of moving parts and something goes wrong and it's catastrophic.
Yeah, so let's talk about.
So thank you for letting me know that there is a such thing as
negative synergy.
There is,
and that's where you can have 2 + 2 = 3, right? So it's actually less beneficial when people aren't working together, or when they're working together and they're not on the same page. And so the outcome is not greater, it's less than. And some of the things that can lead to that is, how about if you're trying to do a project with someone that is just not on the same page with you? You have different ideas about how it should happen, how the outcome should come about, and you're just not able to pull yourselves together.
Right.
Or maybe you're working with somebody that's super negative, and we all know that negativity, and we all know that negativity slows everything down and actually brings more negativity and opens the door up for problems in the project, right? And
energy breeds.
Yeah. And then you can just be maybe partnered up with somebody that's not equally yoked with you.
Right.
And so you're like feeling like you're having to pull all the weight and they're like not doing their fair share. And so that's not going to be a positive synergy situation. That is going to be a negative synergy situation. So I hope that you guys understand that there can be absolutely negative synergy, but we want to work for the positive, right?
Always positive.
Yeah, we want to put together the right things to get you the positive synergy. And because we're talking about wellness foreplay here, we want to give you the tactics to be positive in the synergy realm in accomplishing your wellness, okay?
That's right. Well, this is where it's at.
Yeah, so does everybody agree? There's positive, which is what we want in the synergy, but there can also be negative.
That's right.
Okay. So now let's move on to question number 3, because this one's one of my favorite questions here. And this is where you're going to get a lot of your meat and potatoes of what you can do for your wellness. So question number 3 is, how can you stack positive behaviors to create synergy in your wellness?
Oh. That's a great question.
So guys, and just keep in mind, if you're looking for a negative outcome, just do the opposite of what we're going to talk about, because what we're going to talk about is going to be completely positive, and it's going to be everything that is going to be really, it's all encompassing of your day. It's a matter of creating these small habits around your wellness journey that is going to make it so that it's like, you wake up and you do this, and then 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 you do this. And if you do it on a daily basis and consistently do it day after day after day after day, that's when the synergy comes in, because nothing gets done better in just one day.
Right. That's when it becomes a routine. I want to see if there's a way that I can squeeze in that research article that I read the other day.
That you wrote?
Routine, no, that I read. Misspoke. The research article, fascinating research article I read on routine. Goal setting and routine, and how things, when they're not routine, they're not kept. That's pretty interesting. So I'll figure out a way to squeeze it in our conversation.
Well, and I think a lot of it has to do, when you do get to that, on your awareness of what your habits are, right? Yes. Are they good habits or are they bad habits? Because bad habits can compound. And when they compound, it creates that negative synergy.
Not good.
No bueno at all. So let's talk a little bit about some of the positive behaviors that you can stack, which means adding them together. So doing one and then doing the other, and then doing the next one and the next one and the next one, and consistently doing it every single day to be able to get you a synergistic result, which is much greater than if you had only done one of the things on one day, and then the next day you do something else, and then the next day you do something else. Effect. Yeah, we want to get you the best bang for your buck, right? So let's do this. So these are some of the things that we know that you can stack together. So first of all, everything starts with your mindset.
Yeah, oh yes.
Having a positive mindset and outlook on life is absolutely going to be your best starting ground, okay? And then making sure that you're adding in the best amount of sleep and rest for you, because we're all individuals. You have to find your happy place, right? To where you're waking up with energy and you've got what you need throughout the day. Go ahead.
Yeah, before we move much further past mindset, I wanted to say something. You guys I'm sure you've heard that whatever the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve. You probably have already heard that. But there's the other side of it. And when you're talking about, you've heard this, as a man thinketh, so is he. So whatever you set your mind to and you put action towards it, it is going to be the outcome, positive or negative. And so it starts with the right mindset. So I'm going to be well. I'm going to be fit. I'm going to be healthy. I'm going to live long. I'm going to get excited. I'm going to do something every day towards my wellness. That starts with a mindset. If you don't have those kinds of self-talk and you don't actually put a game plan in place, chances are you're not going to hit it. So you can't hit a target you don't aim at. You can't get somewhere if you don't know where you want to go. And if you have a map, but you don't know where you're going to go, you're not going to get anywhere. You have to start with a destination and a mindset and an action plan. And that really, really is solidified by your mindset, or the absence of your mindset will pretty much ensure that you're not going to reach it. So mindset is great. I'm glad you started with that.
Yeah, absolutely. And then moving into sleep and rest. Okay, because if you start out tired, it's going to be hard to be consistent with everything else, especially a positive mindset. And so you want to make sure that you set up your sleep so that you can get a good night's rest, meaning start slowing yourself down before the moment you want to put your head on the pillow. Get your face out of, YouTube and Facebook and anything that's got blue lights that's going to stimulate you instead of letting you slow yourself down. Go to natural light, candles maybe, and just make sure that you stay away from caffeinated beverages later in the day, or really anything that has caffeine in it. There's so many different things that you can do to set you up for a better night's sleep. But sleep and rest, it's not just overnight. If you're going through the day and you're feeling like you're just exhausted and you're tired and you've already had your brain food or your Axio, maybe it's time to find that 15 minutes for a power nap.
Power naps are amazing. They rock.
They do rock. And by the way, guys, you might think it's like, oh, but I need so much more than that. But I have to tell you, I would challenge you actually. Try a 15-minute power nap and set your alarm. Go into a very dark place. Have it be nice and cool, because that's something else that can help you sleep well and rest. And then just close your eyes. If you need some soft music, whatever, just eliminate distractions. And even if you don't fall asleep, in the 15 minutes time frame, your body is going to rest.
Seriously, it's amazing.
Okay.
And there's more. We'll talk more about sleep. In fact, we're going to do a whole episodes on it.
Yeah,
But
we will.
the sleepdoctor.com, not everybody needs the same amount of sleep. So if you go to the sleepdoctor.com and take the sleep evaluation, you'll understand where you are and about how much sleep you need. Not everybody needs 8 hours, but it's the sleepdoctor.com. Dr. Bruce, amazing stuff.
Yeah.
Little plug for Dr.
He
Bruce.
is so cool. Maybe we can get him on a show. That would be awesome.
That'd be awesome.
I'd love to do that.
See what we can
Love
do.
to see. So how about nutrition? Stacking good habits. What you eat is important.
You are what you eat.
Yeah. So think about this. If you eat fast food all of the time, you're eating all kinds of sugary things or drinking lots of soda over and over and over again, do you think that that's going to give you positive synergy or negative synergy? What's going to happen? You're going to gain weight. You're going to be tired. You're not feeding your body what it needs for energy. And it's going to lead to a breakdown of your body and lead to some sort of disease or illness, right?
Yes.
If you're not taking care of yourselves. So stacking in, making better choices of what you're putting into your body for fuel. This is not always about flavor, guys. We have to understand that we eat for fuel. It'll change the way your body responds if you start thinking about it that way.
Yeah, if you just literally, food is fuel. If you literally just grasp that concept, it will change what goes into your pie hole. I mean, because seriously, if you really, really think about it and you own that, I mean, think about your car or your motorcycle or whatever your method of transportation is. You don't put cheap fuel in your car or your motorcycle or your method of transportation because it will cause a problem. You want to put the best in there. That's the entire point. Why is our bodies any differently? And the interesting thing about it, we're living in the only body we're ever going to have, and you're definitely not driving the last car that you'll ever have. But we take better care of our cars and motorcycles and everything else pretty much in our life except our bodies, for the most part. Not everybody. Think of food as fuel,
and
not
I want
as
you to
flavor satisfaction.
look at your bodies as high performance vehicles.
Right.
It's not a Hyundai.
What do you got against Hyundais?
Well, they're not real fast.
They're better than they used to be back
They
in the
are
80s and
better,
90s.
but come on, do you guys agree with me? I mean, you would treat a high performance vehicle differently than you do a less expensive vehicle.
Yeah.
Let's just say that, right?
Okay, how about a Yugo?
There you go.
Those things aren't around anymore. We can diss
Right,
on them.
we can diss on that.
Hyundais are pretty okay.
And you know what? And they're actually looking better now. Yeah, okay, let's move on beyond
Yes, I'm
the
sorry
cars.
if we offended any of you
Yeah,
Hyundai
you
owners out
guys
there.
got the point though, right? You understand what I'm trying to get at. I wasn't trying to hurt anybody's feelings. So if you got your feeling hurt, get over it because I wasn't trying to. So it's all good. All right, so let's move on. Habits that you need to be stacking for positive synergy, moving into exercise. This is a conversation we were just having yesterday too, in the way that because in this last year, we have spent more time sitting on our rear ends instead of getting up and going out and meeting with people in person and traveling to different places to get into group interactions that we normally would do, that our legs and our bodies, our backs are feeling different. We're having different soreness. There's different spots that are really tender. And it all has to do with inactivity.
Inactivity. It's called muscle amnesia.
You don't want it.
You don't want it.
No. So get your body moving. And then how about prayer and meditation? You've got to be able to look to a higher power and be grateful. And it will just absolutely bring everything else into perspective and give you the energy, the inspiration, and a lot of the times the motivation to go forward in what you want to do. So prayer and meditation. Positive people, your tribe vibe.
Yes.
You got to make sure that you're around positive people. You do not want to be around negative Nellies, is what you said, because you will become a negative Nelly. Because it is a fact that you will become this, the sum of the 5 people that you're around the most often.
True story.
Okay. So you got to make sure that you've got positive people around you. Gratitude.
So important.
Okay, this is so important.
It's such an underutilized skill.
And I think it should actually be up higher in the list and actually practice it twice a day, if not all day long. You should start the day first thing in the morning, listing out 3 things at least that you're thankful for. And then at night before you go to bed, this is the best way. Say your prayers, list out your gratitudes, 3 of them at the end of the day. What are you grateful for? And you'll be able to sleep a lot better too, because you're going to be going to bed on a much better note.
Yeah, I want to just kind of interject here a psychological fact. that you cannot have. In fact, it's impossible to have a positive and a negative thought at the same time. So if you tend to be thinking negatively more often, then when you're thinking negatively, when you're down, when you feel like your shoulders roll forward, your energy's just down, just stop, pause, and think of something that you're grateful for. Even if it's, you don't have to think of something big, just like the fact that you're breathing air and you're alive. Start there. And then you can always move up. Just look around. Think of the things you're grateful for. You've got a roof over your head. You've got family members who love you. You have a job, or whatever it is for you. Don't take the things for granted and be grateful for it, because whatever you are grateful for and you acknowledge it and you put it in your mind, that negative thought has to leave. It is evicting. So positive things with gratitude evict negative things like thoughts. So if you find yourself thinking negatively, think a positive thought. Think of something that you're grateful for. Not only is it going to change your demeanor and make you start to warm up and feel better, it's going to get rid of your negative thoughts, because it is physically impossible to have a negative thought and a positive thought at the same time. So let your positive thoughts and your gratitude-based positive thoughts evict your negative thoughts.
I love that. Absolutely love it.
Kick them the hell out.
Now the next one in your synergy for positive stacks, right? Stacking these habits is setting goals, okay? And
goals
are so important.
They are. This is where I could squeeze in what I was talking about, routine.
You could.
Yeah, let's do it.
Go for it.
All right. So who's ever made New Year's resolutions? Raise your hand. Who's ever stopped New Year's resolutions? Raise your hand. Did you guys know that January 17th every year is Ditch New Year's Resolution Day?
Why would we have one of those?
Ditch New Year's Resolution Day. Why do we? It's a great question, because it only takes about 16 days of trying something and not being successful that they said, you know what, let's just make a national holiday. We'll call it Ditch New Year's Resolution Day and let everybody off the hook who has New Year's resolutions, so they don't feel bad about themselves. And I think it's just a silly, silly thing. What would be so much more effective is just change your routine by giving yourself little celebrations. You guys ever heard of something called dopamine? We talked about it on an episode a little while back. Dopamine is a positive hormone, one of the happy hormones we talked about that your brain releases in this brain reward cascade. Well, maybe if you're new to our show and you've never seen these episodes before, every time you look at a like on your social media, every time somebody comments on it, you get a dopamine drip. It makes you feel good, especially if it's praiseworthy. So this is the thing about routine. I read this research article that was fascinating. It was about routine and why people stop their goals or pursuit of goals because it's not a routine. It's something called novelty. Well, they have to do it long enough and get rewarded enough to change the routine, the old routine, into the new routine. And guess what they used? Movie popcorn. They used movies and popcorn in this study. And they took 10,000 people, took two groups, a group of 5,000 and gave them stale popcorn while they were watching a movie.
So gross.
And 5,000 people that got fresh popcorn. And they wanted to see, did the actual popcorn have anything to do with the habit or the routine? And it had everything to do with it. So when people are watching movies, it's a normal part of watching movie to eat popcorn. And even though they were eating stale popcorn, it was because it's part of a routine, they kept eating it. But outside the movie theater, they didn't want to eat stale popcorn. So in the theater, it's so common, it's a routine, it's a habit to eat popcorn when you watch a movie. It didn't matter whether it was stale popcorn or fresh popcorn. It didn't change the behavior. That's a routine. That's the power of a routine. But how do you do it? How do you develop a new routine and turn a desire into a goal, into a habit, into instinct? With little small celebrations along the way that are influenced. That's why checkoff lists are so powerful.
I love that.
You check something off the list, your brain gets a dopamine rush. You do something on your to-do list, you get a dopamine rush. You bring in the garbage cans from the curb and you put them where they belong, your brain gets a dopamine rush. It is a completed task. Make a bunch of little completed tasks on your way to the big goal and it will become routine, it will become habit, and your brain will be rewarded in the process. That's the power of stacking or synergistic behavior when you want to change. And there is something pretty important about mental wellness. In fact, it is amazing how important mental wellness is. Ask people that are suffering from the lack of it and they'll tell you. And right now there's lots and lots of people. So stack these positive things, turn the old habit into a new habit by giving yourself small rewards along the way. and watch your life change dramatically by stacking.
Yeah, but rewards, we can't really say too much about
No,
rewards,
they're so powerful.
meaning that we could go on and on and on about it, because it does bring in this amazing experience. It brings in an emotion. It brings in this opportunity to cement
Yes.
the experience of achieving that goal, and that makes you want to do it more. So if you're not rewarding yourself right now for the things that you're doing that are good, start rewarding yourself. It doesn't have to be anything big. Think small rewards, something you'd enjoy, even if it's just, a yes and high five. Give yourself a high five, guys, or high five somebody else near you, and it just gives you that celebration, that dopamine hit, and it just helps to cement that emotion. And it's really our emotions that drive us into what we believe. What you believe is what you're going to do, and you want to do more of the good things, right? Because we want to stack it all together here. And then the last thing on this list is contribution or service, right? Being able to do for other people. And this is also a fact, is that if you're going through a tough time at any point, whether you're having financial issues or whether you're not feeling good or you're struggling in a relationship, if you sit there and focus on the thing that's not going good, you're going to get more of it.
Right.
But if you focus on how you can make someone else's life better, it's going to help alleviate the problem that you have in your own life. So really be looking for ways that you can contribute or serve other people. Right?
Yes. So let's go through that summary. What happens if you have a positive mindset and you wake up with a good night's sleep and you start eating good food and you're totally hydrated and you're exercising and you're thinking positive thoughts and you're only allowing positive thoughts into your brain? Throw away the newspaper, cancel your newspaper, and turn off your TV.
Yes.
And then you're just your gratitude, you're meeting your goals, you're setting little goals and you're meeting them. That stack of behavior, guess what the ultimate outcome is? Wellness, positive behavior, a happy-go-lucky kind of person with very little, if anything, to complain about.
Yeah. And so, guys, we know that we just went through a ton of stuff that we want you to start thinking about stacking together to have the most optimal wellness that you possibly can. And we did it pretty quickly. So I'm going to read them slower. You can come back and you can make sure that you have your pen and paper, make these notes, because this can actually begin your checklist.
Yes.
Right? And your checklist can become part of your daily mode of operation, or your DMO. Okay. So these things are positive mindset, sleep and rest, nutrition, water, make sure you're drinking enough of it, exercise, prayer and meditation, positive people, your tribe vibe. How about gratitude? Next, we have goals and rewards. And then finally, contribution. So create your DMO using this checklist and stack them together, and you will absolutely see a synergistic result.
So good.
After you've done this for a long enough period of time, because consistency over time is the key.
That's right.
Okay. So let's hop into question number 4 now, because we just spent a lot of time on question number 3. We hope you guys got some great value out of that. We would love to hear from any of you at any time. And you can contact us at dondiandmarcy.com. We've got a contact us option there. We'd love to hear from you at any point, any suggestions for shows, comments on shows that we've already had. And a lot of the times we'll be giving you some special offers. As a matter of fact, after question number 4 here, we've got one for you today. So question number 4 is, how can synergy slow down your aging?
Ooh, that's a good question.
And by the way, guys, I love being synergized. It's a big deal.
It is a big, big deal.
I mean, hashtag 50 is the new 30. And actually, I think 50 is the new 20, 25. When I go places and it's like, I tell them I'm 50 and they're like, you're 50? How is that? And I'm like, well, I make good choices. I do different things and I make sure I do them consistently, and so that's what we're trying to do for you guys, is to provide you with information that can help you in your aging process as well. And it's all about wellness, right?
And part of that story, when they say that you're 50, they go, is that your son? And then she goes, no, he's actually my husband.
You're so funny.
There might be a slight exaggeration to that.
Normally, yeah, okay. Normally it's is that your husband? And it's my son. Okay, let's move on to the answer to this question. So the question again is, how can synergy slow down your aging? This is where we get into the 1 + 1 + 1 = 10.
Yes, compound effect. It's so powerful when it comes to your biology, your physiology, your bodies as a whole. It's pretty amazing how it works.
Yeah, so over the past 4 episodes, we've actually covered the 3 prominent theories on aging. The first one is the free radical theory. The second one is the mitochondrial decline theory. And the third theory is the sirtuin theory. If you don't know what I'm talking about, please go back and check our past episodes where you can get all of the details there, okay? It's all part of the aging series. So there's a 4-part series on aging. Go check that out. But the reason why I wanted to bring that up is that it's all about activating different pathways inside of our bodies. Mm-hmm. So the NRF2 pathway works on
oxidative stress or free radical damage. It's part of the free radical theory of aging.
Okay, and then the NRF1 pathway
is the mitochondrial theory of aging. Cellular energy and produced by the mitochondria inside your cells.
Okay, awesome. And then the NAD pathway.
That's about sirtuin activity. That's the communicator. That's the chemical messengers, the protein messengers inside your cells that allow for cellular efficiency and, most importantly, DNA repair, mutation prevention, and longevity.
Yeah, and so we've talked about how you can individually activate each one of these pathways for really significant benefits. Yes. But let's talk synergy. Okay, this is what we do personally. And through a synergistic approach of activating all 3 of these pathways at the same time gives us a 1,792% greater benefit in sirtuin response, a 69% greater benefit in mitochondrial function, and a 1,563% greater response in antioxidant enzymes.
Wow,
guys,
that's powerful.
That's the positive synergy that we're talking about. That's what we want. Why would you only take one product that can activate one pathway when if you can activate all 3 of them at the same time to have this significant of results in the 3 things that are the most prominent reasons why we age? Why
it wouldn't
would you
make
not
sense not to
do it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's give a real life example, or let's just take John Doe. Okay, we've got a guy, John Doe. John Doe wakes up tired. He's tired all day long, constantly suffering from lack of energy, just doesn't really have to get up and go do the things that he really wants to do. His body's just not there. His brain's not there with regard to that. And when it comes to focusing on things, he just has brain fog, walks into rooms and goes, why did I come in here? Forgets simple things. And let's just say he's got a sore shoulder too. Now, taking John Doe with his forgetfulness, his brain fog, he's constantly tired and fatigued, and he's got a sore shoulder, and help him, let's just say you give him some over-the-counter pain relievers, and his shoulder feels better. So he's not as conscious of his shoulder pain as he was before, but he's still having brain fog. He's still having forgetful moments. He's still fatigued and waking up tired all the time. Did you improve his life? Yeah, of course you did. But he's still got these other things that are nagging. Well, let's just say you helped with his shoulder pain and you took away his forgiveness or his forgetfulness and his brain fog, and he's thinking clear now. He doesn't have his painful shoulder anymore, but he's still fatigued and feeling lethargic and waking up tired. Did you improve his life? Well, of course you did, but he's still got this, just still wants energy, still feels sluggish. What if all of it was gone? And he just had no sluggishness. He had the energy that he needed. He didn't have any shoulder pain anymore. He was having focus and concentration. What kind of a person, what kind of a father do you think John Doe would be in those circumstances, considering where he was? What kind of a husband do you think he would be? What kind of a boss do you think he would be? What kind of an employee do you think he would be? What kind of a neighbor would he be if he didn't have to worry about those things anymore? And we're talking as it relates to aging, but let's just talk about quality of life. Quality of life, when you don't have to think and take an inventory of the things that are going wrong in your life, you could focus that energy elsewhere, serving people, doing good things, completing a task, doing your job, living life grand. That's the power of synergy. That's the power of, think about it as not the minimal things or the small things you're suffering from. Think about it as quality of life. How much better would the quality of life be if you didn't have to worry about those things? That's when it really puts synergy into perspective when it comes down to quality of life.
Yes.
And what kind of a person could you be if you didn't have to worry about those things? That's really
Love
what
that.
gets us excited and
Mhm.
why we live for that every day. And we want to help people understand that every day, that you don't have to live in the circumstances you're living in. You just have to make a decision to change. And that's what we do this show for, to help you change, to give you bite-sized things, to help you make better decisions with a better mindset to go in and have a better quality of life, because it's all about quality of life.
Yes. And so we want to invite every single one of you to take Synergy and activate it into your wellness journey. Okay.
Yes.
And we actually want to give you a $10 discount code off of your first purchase as well. So please make sure that you go to dondiandmarcy.com, send us a message that says episode 19 code, and we will make sure that we get that over to you, because we want you to have Synergy on your side in your wellness and your
big deal.
aging.
Yes.
So guys, thank you so much for joining us today for episode number 19, all about synergy.
All about synergy.
Where there can be good and there can be bad. So we want to make sure you're
Yes,
optimizing
thank
the
you for that.
synergy in your life. All right, guys, we are so grateful for every single one of you. We are actually excited. We'll be coming to you for episode number 20 from Fremont, California, this
Yes.
coming Friday. So please join us for a surprise.
That's a monumental episode, episode 20.
Yep, we're
That's
excited.
awesome. We're excited.
Thanks for being here, guys. We appreciate you. Take care.
Take care, everybody. Love you guys.